20 years from now, what will be the you are not going to always have a calculator in your pocket? And what if your phone doesn't have service? And what if the battery dies? My cousin used a variation on this with their daughter. She was at the age size where she was too big for a high chair, but still needed a booster seat to sit at a table. She didn't like the booster seats for some reason, so she would get pissed off and start yelling for a high chair. This happened once when we went out to eat. She started demanding a high chair. My cousin said the restaurant didn't have any, despite being seated literally 6 feet away from where the restaurant stacked its high chairs. When she pointed to the large stack of high chairs behind my cousin, she was told, "You can't use those right now. They're recharging." That satisfied her. She went back to her booster seat and didn't say a word about it after. She didn't understand you're too big for that, but the concept of recharging was familiar enough that she knew it was a losing battle. That's amazing. I did something similar with a friend's kid a while ago. Had been crying for about 20 minutes that he wanted to go on this carousel that we passed, and his mom just could not get him to accept her no for an answer. He finally got the point when he asked me on our way back from the toilets, "Oh sorry buddy, but the horses are sleeping, we can't ride them." "Oh okay," just like that he was fine with it. Kids are wild, man. Yep. It's a classic move for us. Toddler wants to watch Paw Patrol but it's bedtime. "Sorry buddy. They went to sleep just like you're going to sleep. They'll be back when you wake up tomorrow." Totally makes everything fine. Until they see the episode where Ryder wakes them up because the stupid mother ducker who live in that stupid city can't do anything without the help of fucking pups and a 10-year-old. Yeah, Duck Ryder. He doesn't say please very often, it drives me nuts. You want to always be living with your parents. You clearly aren't Asian. Fingers crossed, finish your food, there are people in Africa starving. Well, you can't automate everything? Tell that to my car that drives itself, house that cleans itself, yard that mows itself, and coffee that makes itself. But, sure, that one thing you're thinking of totally can't be automated. Can't program a robot to make you piss. They'll gobble it up, convert it into clean drinking water and make your morning brew with it. Piss coffee brewed from last night's waste. It's a bit nutty. It's shit, Austin. Well good, then it's not just me. I have a right to online privacy. I hate their reply, "If you have nothing to hide, why are you worried?" Like, wanting some privacy doesn't mean you're hiding 30 murder crimes. I mean, that's why we wear clothes. No, I don't have horrific World War I scarring, I just don't like you looking at my junk. Same concept. When I hear that argument, I tell people to poop with the door open. We all do it, there's nothing to hide. I do poop with the bathroom door open. But I also very much so live alone. I set up a public Twitch stream every time I use the toilet. You got that GoPro inside the bowl though, dude. Logitech C920 Pro B-Day. There's plenty more fish in the sea, won't make any sense. Edit. This comment doesn't really answer Op's question. I delete it, but some of the responses are pretty good. That's actually made me feel very sad. Frown. Don't be sad, there's plenty more cockroaches in the radiation shelter. Also rolls off the tongue. You're not always going to have autopilot in your car. You are always going to have a calculator in your pocket. This is by far the most worrying one. I don't get it. Will it be in our heads or something? I read something along the lines of WW4 will be fought with sticks and stones, meaning we'll lose the easy access to technology we have today. Not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Einstein, and then everyone clapped. That man's name? Albert Einstein. Maybe the only time when we will see if that it's actually his. Except we don't actually know if he really said that. There's no solid proof of it. But it is very in tune with what we know he actually thought. He just usually wasn't so pithy. It may not be an actual Einstein, but if we could ask him, he'd probably be stoked we credited it to him. You're not always going to have someone to clean up after you. Robot Butler has entered the chat. What's the Wi-Fi password? Hunter 2. All I see is. I can see it. It says you're welcome. Clean air doesn't grow on trees. The Lorax wants to know your location. I am the Lorax, I speak for the trees, do not litter, or I'll break your ducking knees. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, if I find your ducking trash, I'll break your fucking toes. Come on over and visit, admire the beauty of this wondrous place, and when you threaten to cut it down, I'll come over and smash your ducking face. You will not always have Mambo number 5. How could you say that? You wouldn't say that to Monica. Or Erica. Or Rita. Or Tina. Or Sandra. Or Mary. Or Jessica. Or the trumpet. Just Monica. Just Monica. Just Monica. You're not always going to be able to access your brain's memory files, sometimes you may need to remember things off the cuff. Teachers saying you're not allowed to use a Wikipedia article. I hope that doesn't change. Encyclopedias in general have always been frowned upon as sources because their entire purpose is to give an overview. Wikipedia's biggest advantage is that it makes it easy to find primary sources, such as books or articles, which are then acceptable to cite because they should go into more detail. Yep. At uni we just did a task that made us go onto a Wikipedia article for a topic and analyze a random selection of references at the bottom. I've always been told it's okay to go there for the references cited on an article, but now I know how to determine their quality relevance too. You better actually learn this because your Neuralink won't work on Mars. It took longer than expected for a Neuralink comment to come up. ITT, people misunderstanding the premise of the question and talking about brain computers and stuff. It's supposed to be something that people actually say today which might turn out to completely wrong. The cell phone service one is a good example. The 10 different mind computer ones are not. Close the door, you're gonna let all the cold out. ITT, people who don't get it. Reading comprehension and thinking critically isn't Reddit's strong suit. We don't have computers like we used to back in 2020, learn to do mental arithmetic. Being in front of that damn computer won't get you a job. So many people didn't understand Op's question, it makes me sad. This restaurant doesn't deliver. Although hopefully not because we end up with another global pandemic, so ducking soon. You're not going to have internet access everywhere. Pay attention to the road, cars don't drive themselves. What if your car runs out of gas? Duck. I work in a lab and currently training a new young hire. You have no clue of the empty stares I got from him while I mentally do simple dilution calculations. Even if you are going to have a calculator in your pocket for the rest of your life, learn how to do math with yourself head. It's just simpler and faster. If we had universal basic income, who would still go to work? We can dream, can't we? You're not always going to have your Shrek DVD with you at all times. You're not always going to have clean water. You can't just Google your problems probably. You can't just program knowledge into your brain. The chip in your brain will not always work. We're probably already there, but Wikipedia is not a valid source is a thing we were told a lot when I was in school. As far as I'm concerned, it's at least as valid as any textbook, and a good deal more transparent in its sourcing.